So I have this journal that I started last night, November 1st, 2025. Good morning. It's November 2nd, 2025. I am your general. Jesus Christ is King, and I'm in the middle of nowhere in an undisclosed location of beautiful Hawaii Booyah. Just the way I like it. Jesus used to go into the mountains to pray and to hear his word, and that's where we can hear him the strongest, away from technology. In fact, I've been thinking about this, praying on it. And yes, I realize the irony since I'm holding a camera, but I have an idea for a documentary called Digital Detox. You know, all this new tech, AI, robots, social media, it's questionable whether or not it's really enhancing or bringing more meaning to our lives. More importantly, kind of the unknown factor, which is the joy factor, is the humanity factor. In fact, AI by its very design is actually non-human. It's alien. And that's what I believe happened in 2020. All right, so tell me about the aliens, the disclosure, Project Bluebeam.
Yeah, well, so Marco Rubio has come out saying in this new documentary that's about to be released that these UFOs are hovering over our nuclear sites, which goes back, I believe, to the Maelstrom incident as well, where there's this spoofing that happens, where the footage gets messed up, sort of like Jeffrey's footage is missing like a second, and it gets a little manipulated. It's a term called spoofing, and that's what the CIA, I think, calls it. And so I think it's the Maelstrom incident where these UFOs went over like a nuclear facility and messed with the log. So it looked like they were about to launch off all the different missiles, or maybe they stopped it. I don't know it too much, but something like that. And it seems like this just recently happened. Marco Rubio's talking about it. Now, I'm not saying that I believe this.
Yeah, so why is Marco Rubio even talking about it? What's your opinion on that? Why are they disclosing it?
You're on the Foreign Affairs Committee and you're really involved in foreign affairs. There've been a lot of articles lately about UFOs. I know this question is a little out there. Is there any truth to any of this?
Well, we don't know. All I've said is we have people that have very high clearances, both today and in the past, who did really important work for our government or continue to do important work for the government, who have come forward with some claims about the U.S. having in the past recovered exotic materials and then reverse engineered those materials to make advances in our own defenses and technologies. That's the claim they make. Now, I don't know if those claims are true or not. What I do know is that one of two things is happening here. Either they're telling the truth, and that is something that obviously would be the biggest story in human history, or we have people in really important positions of government who are crazy.
So today I can hear God. It's a beautiful Sunday. I hope you guys went to church. I hope you praised. Taking this beautiful view with me. Look how this island just breathes. It's alive. I always kind of called it like a beautiful woman, right? She can be kind of emotional sometimes. She's the most beautiful thing you've ever seen, but sometimes she breathes fire. That's what I've always thought about this place. And it is just epic. Seen waterfalls many times out here. You'll see wild goats. You'll see birds, plant life. And there's just so much going on in the news, folks. There's just so much going on. Donald Trump's about to strike Nigeria. God bless the Christians there being persecuted. Trump is also hitting speedboats out in Venezuela, about to take out Maduro, using military force with the Department of War. At the same time, Vladimir Putin is displaying his Poseidon submarine nuclear tsunami nukes. Trump held a Great Gatsby party just a few days ago, kind of interesting to think about, because it's a stark contrast from where America is, but where I think it's headed.
I do say it very proudly. 1 year ago, our country was in very, very serious trouble. Some people thought our country was dead. Now we're literally the sort of an inspiration to a lot of other countries. We are indeed, I use the term hottest country, but we're the hottest country anywhere in the world by far. The United States is blessed with right now, the strongest economy, the strongest borders. This all happened over the last 9 months. The strongest military, the strongest friendships, and the strongest spirit of any nation on the face of the earth. This is a golden age in a short period of time. I knew we could do it. I didn't know we were going to do it this quickly.
And where I think it's headed, ladies and gentlemen, is a golden age. I think a lot of you still don't understand the message I've been bringing for 2 decades, that the dollar is dying and that you've got to get out of dollars. You got to get out of fiat, and you have to get into stuff that's actually real, like this rock, or like gold, or real estate, or Bitcoin. I see the prices of all that much higher by year end, and of course, as we enter the 250-year centennial of the greatest country in the world, I'm expecting greatness. I'm rereading a book on the biography of Alexander Hamilton right now. Lived such an interesting life, interesting character. You know, he started out on the side of the Redcoats, on the side of the Tories, before he began to understand and intellectualize that the movement for liberty, of which he spearheaded as the founding fathers, was a worthwhile cause to fight and die for. I believe we're at the same pivot point today in modern history with where the world currently sits, with AI, robots, social media, technology, advancements in medicine, a lot of those topics I'm not allowed to talk about that are changing the biology of human beings. And again, that's the higher truth of what happened in 2020. It wasn't about what you thought or what most people think. It was far bigger. See the ocean behind me there? That's how far I've gone. Far more spiritual, far more omnipresent and omniscient than you could imagine, just like this mountain. Sometimes I stare at clouds and I'll see God, which the camera doesn't even do it justice. And I'll see God in the clouds. I'll see angels. I'll see loved ones. I'll see Mary Magdalene and others, images. And that's really the truth of the source of our information. A lot of people ask me, well, are you studying all the time? Yeah, I read books, I'm studying, I'm reading media and the news, but really I'm downloading my information from the higher source, the same thing that the Hawaiians know. This land, you're here with me right now in this moment, in this video, you can feel the blood run down its valley. The war, sacrifices, the beatings of the drums to the gods, the great conflict that was at hand to unify the islands at one time. There's a great documentary I encourage you to watch by Jason Momoa called Chief of War. I've spoken with a lot of locals and elders about this. They think it was pretty legit. Like, they did a pretty good job, even though it's Hollywood and it's on Apple TV, but they kept it really authentic. They were speaking in native tongue. I actually think it's worthwhile to watch, not kid-friendly. But I bring that up. It's a lone helicopter flies above me, somewhere here in this forest. And this mountain is, I think we're kind of at the same war now.
I can tell you where I think things are going to go, which is that we're not going to have a phone in the traditional sense what we call a phone will really be an edge node for AI inference, for AI video inference, with some radios to obviously connect to. But essentially, you'll have AI on the server side communicating to an AI on your device, formerly known as a phone, and generating real-time video of anything that you could possibly want. And I think that there won't be operating systems, there won't be apps in the future. There won't be operating systems or apps. It'll just be, you've got a device that is there for the screen and audio and to put as much AI on the device as possible, so as to minimize the amount of bandwidth that's needed between your edge node device, or formerly known as a phone, and the servers.
I think Christians, I think liberty and freedom is at the same spot, honestly, native cultures were hundreds, thousands of years ago. Today in the modern world, I think it's what some have called the Luddite revolt, right? Peter Thiel, who I study and have read all of his books, I think he's a very highly intelligent, interesting man, just did a piece on the Antichrist, what that meant. He said that Greta Thunberg is the equivalent of the Antichrist, and anyone that goes against technology or the advent of superintelligence or general intelligence, or as Elon Musk said on Joe Rogan a few days ago, the AI apps are going away. There's going to be no apps on your phone in the future. It's really just going to be AI generative content. I'll probably be an AI avatar, licensed, like I'll license myself, my personality, my 1000 freaking X and all that stuff, and it'll just be monetizable and licensed. And the AIs are just going to talk to the other AIs. So there's not going to be like YouTube or Facebook on your phone or anything like that anymore. It's just going to be an AI interface. Very interesting to think about. I mean, to me, it almost sounds scary. Elon Musk and others seem very enthused about it. For some reason, they think it's a good idea for us to lose all of our humanity, which I think technology can enable us to do better things, like a calculator to process information. But in my opinion, doesn't necessarily enhance or bring beauty or meaning or real life to our life. I thought about it recently, and I've known this for years, but you know what real wealth is? This is free. Real wealth is not being on a cell phone, not having relationships online. Real wealth is real stuff like this, the Island Project. You know, I just spent some really great fellowship with some amazing members, several different families actually, know who you are, over the last several weeks and months. And I was thinking to myself, that's real wealth. We've built a real community where people are thriving, they're prospering, they're profiting from the dollar's collapse, they're making money through tokenization, new technology, but we're doing something so different. We're actually bringing people together in real life, real Christians, real fellowship, real meaning, real spirit, real soul. I called it the soul investment for a reason, live your investment, because I think people are missing paradise lost. And honestly, I found it here at the Digital Noah's Ark. So today's video isn't about me. It's about you in this moment, rededicating your life in the form of a digital detox. Look, you can use the technology. I'm not saying go cold turkey. I'm just saying, like, get engaged in real humanity. Build real stuff. Do real things. Go on a real hike. Drink from a real running river, which there's actually one behind me. Go see a real waterfall. Embrace a real loved one. Get off your phones. These phones are manipulative. Much of the tech they've developed, honestly, you could even argue at a Supreme Court level should be illegal. How manipulative, psychotically it is. How psychologically brain manipulative it is. How it's affecting especially children's behavior. And they're losing the source. They're losing what's real. So I have this documentary idea. I kind of think this is actually episode 1. It's called The Digital Detox with a Real Social Media Addict. Yeah, you know who that is. Probably a lot of you tuning in, but General Greene, in this process of reconnecting with the earth, reconnecting with the spirit, reconnecting with God for higher purpose and higher meaning, and doing something big and bold, because life is short and it's important, especially as we lead and enter the second phase of life. I'm 44 years old. You start to think about mentorship, legacy, and what will really matter at the end of it. And so I encourage you to come on this journey with me. No, this is not a dead end. In your life, even though sometimes feels like it could be a dead end, is not a dead end. Behind that door is a new beginning. And so I ask you today to walk through it with me. Like and share this video. And then I'm going to cover the news. Of course, we know what's going on. We know what's going to happen next year with crypto and Bitcoin and all my picks. And we understand what's going on with real world assets. We understand what's going on with fiat and the wars and the spiritual crisis and the AI, robots and all of it. So let's walk through this door together. RSVP at Deck 2 with Papa John at 808-442-2934. That's 808-442-2934. And get in today before you miss it. Reconnect. Digitally detox at islandproject.com. Put your freaking phone down on Deck 2 and live a bold, awesome life. Come meet me and my Father and become a part of our Ahana, our family, and the beauty that could only be Father God, Jesus Christ the King, and the Holy Spirit who sponsored this message. And let's walk through the valley of the shadow of death together towards the light and the living hope. I love you. Episode 1 of the Digital Detox. So tomorrow I start a new and turn a new chapter. I'm going into the wilderness to talk with God and pray. Time for a one-on-one conversation with the King. Time for a change. It all starts with a new mindset, a new habit, a new practice, which is why I'm writing this. To turn the page and write a new story, not on the future, but today, to build it. Deeply, I am a spiritual man, misunderstood, unable to convey the gravity of what lies ahead. But today I choose a better path forward, a detox from the digital world, a reset of my brain and heart. I won't go cold turkey, but I need to reset my internal computer. The one that was built by God, not the one we all hold in our hand, like I am now in this right hand and a book in the left, which is biblical, by the way, or input on our desk, but the real one, the most valuable one, the internal computer, the one that I think many of you can agree, in this world at least, is now lost, to be found again. And then I went to bed and I slept like a baby all last night. Pretty amazing. Usually don't sleep that well. And all night I heard in my brain, and right before I woke up, it was repeated to me in my mind again and again and again and again and again. And I had to wake up and pen the next line, which I read to you today, November 2nd, 2025. To die in Jesus is to gain. To die in Jesus is to gain. Day 2, November 2nd, 2025, of the Digital Detox.